Have you ever wondered why the acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared, or why the gravitational field is 9.8 newtons per kilogram? Well, in this video, we're going to find out why that is. Why isn't it 5.6 or 12.1? Why is it 9.8? And at the end of the video, I'll also go over some common mistakes students make when calculating gravitational field. We're going to start with Earth, and we have an object here. Let's say we have an apple here, and we have gravity force pulling it down. If we were to find out what the gravitational force is, if we want to calculate that, you might know that there's an equation that's Fg equals to mg, and that would allow you to calculate the weight of this apple on the surface of the Earth if we know g, the gravitational field. But what if you didn't know g? What if you didn't know the gravitational field? Well, there's another equation to calculate the gravitational force. Let's say this is the Earth, and we have the apple over here, obviously not drawn to scale. Here we have gravitational forces between the apple and the Earth. These are action-reaction forces. And we can use Newton's law of universal gravitation, which is Fg is equal to big G times m1 times m2 divided by r squared. And r is the distance between the centers of the two objects. If we then set these two equations equal to each other, since they're both calculating gravitational force, we get mg is equal to the gravitational constant times m1. We'll call this big M for the mass of the planet, times m2, we'll use little m, divided by r squared. Do you notice anything that cancels out? The mass cancels out, right? So g is equal to big G times big M divided by r squared. Now we're going to do a little substitution here. Big G is 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11. Earth's mass is 5.98 times 10 to the 24th. And the radius of the Earth is 6.37 times 10 to the 6th. And don't forget to square it there. We calculate that, we get, guess what we get? 9.8 newtons per kilogram. So we take a look at this equation, we can see that the gravitational field really just depends on two things: the mass of the planet, as well as the distance to the center of that planet. Now, I mentioned that the acceleration due to gravity is also 9.8. Can we also derive that equation as well? And yes, we can. We'll do that next. To derive the acceleration due to gravity of an object that is falling in free fall, we're going to use Newton's second law. And Newton's second law tells us that the net force is equal to ma. And what's the net force here? I've got an apple. It's on the surface of the Earth here, above the surface of the Earth. We let it go. It falls. Gravity's pulling on it. And so the net force here is Fg. So assuming no air drag, we just have gravity force pulling this apple down. And we can set that equal to ma. Now, we also know the law of universal gravitation, which is Fg is equal to big G times m1 times m2 divided by r squared. So this works for any two masses in the universe. And this works for, if you know the mass and you know the acceleration, you can calculate the gravitational force. We're going to set these equal to each other, and we get ma is equal to big G times m1, we'll let that be the mass of the planet, m2, mass of the apple, divided by r squared. Once again, what cancels out? You'll notice that the m's cancel out, and we get the same equation. Acceleration is equal to big G times big M divided by r squared. But now I want to dig a little bit deeper. What does this equation, what does this actually tell us? Well, I'd like to think of gravitational field as an area of gravitational influence. And gravitational field is invisible, but we can use lines to kind of visualize what's going on. So as you are going further and further away from a planet, the gravitational field decreases. And you'll notice these lines, these are called gravitational field lines. And where the lines are closest together, that's where you have the strongest amount of gravitational field. As you get further and further away, the gravitational field decreases. Now, there is a relationship between gravitational field and the distance you are from the center of the planet. And that relationship is G is proportional to 1 over r squared. We call this a inverse square relationship. Let's take a look at an example of this. So let's say we have a planet and it has a radius of r. What do you think happens when we go away from that planet so that we're a distance that is 2r's? So over here is 2r. What would happen to that gravitational field? For our gravitational field lines, you could probably deduce that it's going to be a smaller gravitational field, a weaker gravitational field. And then what happens if you go even further so that now you are 3r? And from our gravitational field lines, you could probably conclude that the gravitational field here is going to be even smaller. But how much smaller is it going to be? Well, let's go ahead and create a chart here. So on the left, we're going to have our distance from the center of the planet, and then on the right column, we'll have the gravitational field. So at a distance of r from the center, this would just be the radius. This would be just like right here on the surface. The gravitational field will say that it has a gravitational field strength of G. Let's say that we go twice the distance, 2r. So at 2r, if we plug in a 2 here, what happens to that 2? It gets squared. So 1 over 2 is squared, which gives us 1 over 4. So the gravitational field is 4 times less, or 1/4 what it was before on the surface of the planet. What about if we move 3r distance away from the center of the planet? Well, if we plug it into our equation, we get 1 over 3, and we don't want to forget to square that, and we get 1 over 9, 1/9, the gravitational field that we had originally. So the inverse square law, to calculate that, you can basically take the change in the distance, and you make sure you take the inverse of that and make sure you square that. Now I want to take a look at some common mistakes students make when applying the equation for calculating gravitational field. So here we have a planet with a mass of 8 times 10 to the 22nd kilograms. The planet has a radius of 4 times 10 to the 6 meters. And we have this green mass here, green object, which has a mass of 5 kilograms. And I want to find the gravitational field on the surface of this planet where this green mass is. So the equation for gravitational field, which we've derived, is big G times the mass of the planet divided by r squared. All right. So where's the mistake that students make? So instead of plugging in the mass of the planet, students will oftentimes plug in the mass of the object. And you'll notice in this equation, is there any variable for the mass of the object? No, there's only the variable for the mass of the planet, or the large mass. This could also be for a star, or it could be for the moon, but it's typically a large mass. So when you're using this equation, make sure that you are not plugging in the mass of the small object. Make sure you're plugging in the mass of the big object. Plugging in the known values, we get 0.33 newtons per kilogram. The other really common mistake I see that students make is that they forget to square. So if you missed this question, you got the wrong number, one of the things I would check is to see if you remember to square the distance value on the bottom. Now, if there is no air drag, there's no other forces, if this object is in free fall, the acceleration is also 0.33, and we would say meters per second squared. Note that newtons per kilogram and meters per second squared are equivalent. That's because Newton is a derived unit, a kilogram meter per second squared. And so if you substitute that in there, you would get meters per second squared. All right, let's take a look at another common mistake that I see students make. So we'll start off with the planet. This planet has a mass of 6 times 10 to the 23rd kilogram. We have an object up here. The planet's radius is 3 times 10 to the 6 meters. The green object's mass is 4 kilograms, and the object is at a distance of 3 times 10 to the 6 meters above the surface of the planet. Okay, so to be clear, this H is from the surface of the planet to our green object, and the R is from the surface to the center of the planet. That is R. So our equation for gravitational field is big G times big M divided by R squared. We've already talked about how the big M is the mass of the large object, not the little object that we have here. So the other common mistake that I see students make is plugging in for this R. So what they do is they just plug in the radius of the planet. But if we want to know the gravitational field at this location, so at this location, what is the gravitational field at that location? We need to make sure that the R is the distance from that location to the center of the planet. In this case, it would be big G times big M divided by, and this R would be the R of the planet plus the H, or the altitude of the object, and we want to make sure we square that. And plugging in our known variables, we have 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11 times 6 times 10 to the 23rd, all divided by 3 times 10 to the 6 plus 3 times 10 to the 6, and that needs to all be squared, and we get 1.1 newtons per kilogram. And so that is the gravitational field at the location of our green object here. And remember that the R is not just the R of the radius of the planet. We also need to add the altitude of where that green dot is.